What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Nerds of UVM. I'm your host, David. I'm joined by my friend Luke.
Hey, everybody.
I'm joined by my friend Bob.
Hello.
And I'm joined by my friend Io. For those of you who don't know, thank you, Io. For those of you who don't know, it's a roundtable talk show where we talk about all things geeky and nerdy in the world of pop culture that can relate to comic books, movies, TV shows, video games, art, science, whatever it may be. We're going to get right into this episode because this episode, it's a little different from what we usually do. Io, what are we doing this episode?
We're going to fan cast the X-Men for the MCU.
Very nice, very nice.
Yeah.
So since you're introducing this, I want to hear what your fan. Now we chose out some rules, right? And like, let me run through the characters that we think should definitely be in the first movie. Wolverine, Storm, Cyclops, Beast, Nightcrawler, Jean Grey, Colossus, Professor X, and Magneto. So now we got those. You run through who you think should be in those roles. You introduce us.
Okay, for Wolverine, I would say Tom Hardy, but he's already playing Venom for like that movie.
For Sony, yeah.
Yeah.
Now,
So,
Venom is not part of the MCU as far as I understand.
wait, he's not?
As far as, no. I mean, at least the Venom movie that they're doing, he's not part of the
It's
MCU.
like a weird, like, Sony, like, thing. Right?
But like, also Tom Holland's supposed to show up in the Venom movie, so I have no idea what's going on with that. You can say Tom Hardy if you want.
Yeah, this
I
is
approve
fan
of that.
cast. It's fan cast.
I approve of that. Yeah.
Or Penn Badgley from Gossip Girl.
Penn Badgley?
Yeah.
I don't know this person.
Wait, what character does he play in Gossip Girl?
That guy that's crushing on Serena Williams.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll pull up a photo for him.
Okay,
Yeah,
all right.
'cause now he's got that beard.
Put it on screen. All right, so those are your two for Wolverine?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. I see Tom Hardy. I don't know what this other guy is, but I believe your judgment. Who do you got for? Do you have Storm chosen?
For who?
Did you cast Storm?
Storm. Oh yeah. Kerry Washington from Scandal.
Okay, all right.
Ooh.
She's good. She's really good. Actually, she's really good.
I'd be interested in seeing her as a X-Man if it gets that far. That's a good cast.
Also, she's young enough that she can stick around for a lot of movies.
Yeah.
Like she's only in like her early 30s or something like that right now.
Maybe she's like
maybe not even.
She's hitting her stride.
Yeah. That's a good choice. I approve of that choice.
I really like that choice.
Now, here's something I want to put to the table. Does Storm have like a traditional African accent, or is she like just African American? Because like Halle Berry struggled with that. She's tried to do an African accent at the beginning, but like by the third movie, she was like, "I'm not doing an accent."
Oh, that's true. She totally ditched it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I would like to see like a traditional African accent.
I think I would too.
Yeah.
I think I would too because the character is African.
Yeah.
I think to totally just ignore it could just open up a can of worms that they just do not need. And I mean, just hire a great dialect coach and just make sure you have an actress that can do it.
Make it authentic.
Try to make it authentic as authentic as you can. That's what you got to do.
I'm right up there with you.
Roll up your sleeves. Do the work.
Also, like, I mean, for those of you comic nerds out there, listen up. She's a queen. She's like an African queen too, because in the comics she marries Black Panther, and they have kids. There's actually this cool comic, this cool movie called I think Next Avengers, where like their kid has like, the speed and agility of like a traditional Black Panther, but also like lightning abilities, which is really cool.
Ooh.
Yeah, have you not seen this movie?
Oh, no.
Oh my god, it's so cool. He's so cool. Like he's got tattoos that also work as like lightning conductors and stuff like that. Yeah, it's so cool.
Imagine having that, like...
Yeah. What?
Imagine having, like, that hero, like, way down in the MCU.
My god, so cool. That'd be so cool. Okay.
Yeah,
Kerry Washington.
I have a backup for that. There's this actress known as Genevieve Naji. She's Nigerian, and she auditioned for 007, the one with what's that guy's name?
Daniel Craig.
Yeah. The second movie.
Does she play Moneypenny?
Or no, they gave it to Naomi Harris.
Yeah. They gave it to her, and then she also auditioned for Black Panther in Avengers: Infinity War, but she got dropped like I think a month ago.
Oh,
So
okay.
What was that? Do you know?
I don't know.
Probably just didn't work.
Yeah. So I think to play Storm would be good because she's got the accent and everything.
Very cool.
Oh,
So,
awesome.
Yeah, that could work out.
I would hope they keep her into consideration. If she's going for like those big profile movies, I would hope
Yeah.
she shows up at some point. All right, very cool. The next one on our list, if I remember correctly, it was Cyclops.
Ooh, this I'm thinking Richard Madden, Rob Stark from.
Oh wow! No, I didn't even think of that.
That would be dope.
That's great.
I really thought
That's a
these
great choice. Yeah.
I like that as Scott Summers. I like that as a Scott Summers.
Yeah, I hope they play him much more as like a sympathetic character though, because like in the other X-Men movie, they always play him as like a dick, like a huge, like just a huge douchebag, like
He
you
was
know
good
like.
in the first one, but then he would just cut out the second and third, which sucked.
No, but like also like in the first one, he was like, "Stay away from my girl." And I'm like, "The hell is this? It's not Cyclops. He's not some whiny little bitch. Like, what the hell is this?" So that's a good. Oh my god, he's awesome. Oh,
that would be.
that
so
definitely blows
good.
my choice out of the water. That definitely blows my choice.
was
out of
your
the water.
choice?
No. I'm gonna save it for later. Let's keep hearing your list. Next was Beast.
Beast. I'm thinking more of an older incarnation. So we've got like I'm thinking Mark Hamill would be good for that. Like wise old Beast.
I think you're right in a way, but also like Beast requires a lot of physicality. That would be my only.
That's
on
the
that.
thing. That's
Yeah.
the thing.
Yeah, you need somebody who can still move around a little bit. Like Mark Hamill.
It would be interesting to get Mark Hamill in the MCU though.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. I like that. And of course, you know, obviously use stuntman and people like that, but
Yeah.
that's actually not a bad choice. Not my choice. I wouldn't. I wouldn't cast Mark Hamill, but not bad. Not bad. Out of the box thinking.
Wait, would you go for an older Beast?
I'd go for somebody younger.
Okay.
I will just for the sake. I mean, they can be older in character age, but I go for someone younger so they can still move around. And stuff.
Yeah, I would. Maybe for me casting, I think I would try to maybe hit around. Maybe try to portray the character as 40-ish.
Yeah, that's actually my.
I don't know what that would be.
That's my casting. That's my casting. That's my casting actually.
40-ish, not like too old, not too young.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Io, Nightcrawler. Did you get anybody?
Damn,
No, you didn't get anybody for Nightcrawler? Okay, that's all right. We'll come back around. Jean Grey. Did you get anybody for Jean Grey?
This have you guys seen Gotham?
I have seen Gotham. Yeah.
You talking about the girl who played Catwoman?
No, the girl who played Poison Ivy.
Oh, I know who you're talking
the
about.
older version of
I know
her
who you're talking about.
for Jean Grey.
She's not bad.
I haven't seen it. I mean, you know, she looks hot. That's what I know. But like, that's all I know about her.
That's not
like,
bad.
It's not typical of you, Dave.
Yeah, I guess so. She's attractive, is what I'll say. But that's all I haven't seen Gotham, so I can't comment on her ability or anything like that.
Right.
She's got the look down though, the red hair and everything like that.
Yeah.
It's the primary goal. And then Colossus. Did you get Colossus? You didn't get Colossus. And you didn't get Professor X and Magneto, you said.
Nope.
It's all right. I've got some casting. All right, so I'm going to balance. I have everybody
My
on
turn
those
now,
cast.
everybody.
All right, so for Wolverine. Now this is not traditional Wolverine. Like even more untraditional than Hugh Jackman. Joe Manganiello.
Oh.
Yeah, but he's already. I mean, if we're
Deathstroke.
just doing it pure fan casting, I could see it, but no way. I mean, if he stays with Deathstroke,
I don't think that role's going to be there for him in the next 5 years.
Because like, isn't Will Smith?
yeah, but he's
playing
also like,
Deathstroke?
dude.
Yeah, Will Smith is Deadshot.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but Joe Manganiello is like 45 too. Like I'm thinking like Hugh Jackman was like 32 when he got cast.
Yeah.
And then that was like an 18-year role, and Wolverine is a physical role.
That's true.
I mean, I like it. If Joe was cast in his prime, like he was when he was in True Blood, in his mid-30s, definitely, hands down, I could see him doing it. But he's like 45. He still looks great for his age.
Right.
But age is age.
Yeah, I mean, I hear that.
There's only so much makeup magic you can do.
Yeah, I was looking for somebody primarily who wasn't Tom Hardy because I know Tom Hardy is like the fan
but
favorite
I mean,
casting right now. Yeah.
If Joe was like 15 years younger.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I'll keep them on my list though. First, my own personal list. For Storm, I like your choices, but I thought I wanted to go with someone who's maybe a little bit older as Storm, so I went with Taraji P. Henson.
Oh yeah,
She's from Empire. She was in Hidden Figures. I think she has a lot. She has a great range. I feel like she's just like she's like a great talent, and I would love to see her.
If we're talking older Storm, what about Viola Davis?
I feel like Viola Davis is like too old.
Okay.
Like I feel like Taraji P. Henson is like a good in between.
Right.
Like I think there has to be some seasoned people on the team.
Yeah.
Like Scott could be on the little bit more of the youngish side. Like for if Richard Madden.
Yeah.
I could see that.
Yeah.
But I kind of like seeing Storm as like the lioness, the mother, the mother to these people, because that's
almost what she is in a lot of ways.
She is like she's the den mother.
She's the matriarch. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of Cyclops, though, I went with Ryan Gosling.
Ooh, pretty boy.
I like Richard Madden's great.
No, I like him too, but also I went with Ryan Gosling because I feel like Cyclops is a lot of that. Just sort of like someone who I feel like Ryan Gosling is also pretty versatile when he can do that.
Yeah.
And then I would pair him up with Emma Stone, Jean Grey.
Because they
actually
already have
thought
that
of that.
established.
Yeah.
Actually,
Ryan Gosling and Emma Stone, they have great chemistry.
yeah.
They
that's
always
true.
work.
That's true.
So that's why. That's pretty much the exclusive reason why. For Beast, I actually put Tom Hardy as Beast.
Oh, why?
Oh, wow.
A younger Beast, someone who can be physical, but also like for Tom Hardy, it's a little bit different to being like the wise sage almost.
Yeah.
But he can do it. He's played some more minute roles, but I think particularly to Inception is what I think of when he was like sort of like the brains behind the operation in a lot of ways. So that's where I came to that conclusion. For Nightcrawler, I went with an actual German actor named Till Schweiger. I don't know if any of you know him. He's in a bunch of German movies, and he's a little bit buffer than I think we usually envision Nightcrawler. But he's got a great voice. I would think. I think he'll be able to. It's and as an adult Nightcrawler, I think it would be perfect for it personally. For Colossus, are you ready for this? I went with Dwayne Johnson.
Hey, The Rock. Honestly, yeah.
I know, right? It's great. Yeah. I mean, you could switch up. I mean, Colossus. I know he's Russian.
Can
You
we
could
actually make Nightcrawler Kevin Hart?
Or
No, I'm not making Nightcrawler Kevin Hart.
or you
No.
just cut out the middleman and just get the Mountain from Game of Thrones because he's already
Oh,
Colossus.
yeah.
Well, that is true. I felt like he was like
But
he's too much is what I
Yeah,
thought.
but he's also not great acting. I mean, he's good in Game of Thrones because it's very minimal. I mean, he's there for his size.
Yeah.
And I love watching him on that show because I'm like, Jesus, he's just so freaking huge.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think The Rock would have. I don't know.
Also, The Rock can have like a dry humor to Colossus, which I feel like is what most people like Colossus for. He's very much just sort of like, very much sort of like on the nose a lot of the time, but also like very like sort of just unfeeling in a lot of ways. For Professor X, I went with Gary Oldman.
Oh, I should have seen this coming.
Gary Oldman.
Yeah, Gary Oldman.
I know the name. What?
Gordon, Commissioner
Oh,
Gordon from the Dark Knight series.
yeah,
Also, like
Jesus.
Winston Churchill in this newest movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like he can do the role really well. He can play very like sort of. He's a good teacher character almost.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then for Magneto, I went with Liam Neeson. Which I think is actually like, I mean, in my mind, that's like a perfect casting right there.
That's not bad.
Yeah, right. I mean, the accent's a little thick, but like I think he can get through it because I mean, Michael Fassbender can get through it.
Yeah. You know, thinking about this topic, I mean, I like the topic a lot. I really do. I like doing fan casting, but man, I am not excited for MCU to be having this franchise, to be honest.
Well, we should say that like Kevin Feige has been asked this question, like, what are you gonna do with the X-Men? And Kevin Feige's been like, we don't have any plans right now. They're there, but we're not planning on using them right now.
I mean, just they've been so played. I don't want to say played out, but man, there's been so many film.
Well, like
renditions of them.
before the MCU, there was like the X-Men kind of like series.
Yeah, and it's just, and then you get, I mean, then it almost like falls into the same thing of like, oh, Magneto's up to no good. That means they have to go stop him with Professor X and the standard X-Men.
Yep.
I would love them. I don't know, like you have the standard X-Men, but then you also have a lot of comic verses where I would love to see the girl who played X-23 as the new Wolverine. Not like, because she does take on the mantra of Wolverine.
Mantle.
Yeah, the Mantle, so whatever. But I would love to see her instead of like another Wolverine, because I think honestly it probably won't happen, but they need Hugh Jackman Wolverine retired. Like how he retired 42 for Jackie Robinson.
He is retired.
No. I mean the character.
Oh no, they won't do that.
I know exactly, but I wish they would because it.
Well, I don't wish they would though. I mean that's my thing. I like the character a lot, and I want him to be a legacy character. Hugh Jackman played the role for so many years, yeah, but like the Wolverine is like Spider-Man is like Batman. It is a character that can be inhabited by a number of different actors, each keeping true to the central theme of him while also doing something different.
I'd really like a short, ugly Wolverine. You know?
There aren't many of those in Hollywood.
Yeah, no.
But
I don't think those.
I mean that. But for a new take on the X-Men, I would love to see her as like the more like that type of person in it. I would like to see like Mr. Sinister as a villain.
I think you're alone in that. I'll be honest with you.
I don't care.
Well, I mean, I think we're going to see Mr. Sinister in the Dark Phoenix X-Men movie that they've got going on right now.
Maybe I don't know anything.
Is that coming out?
Yeah, it is.
Is that
in like
is that the end of like the X-Men as we've known it?
As Fox has been doing them.
The
Yeah,
Fox
I think so.
X-Men.
Yeah. I think so. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I would love to see like Mr. Sinister. I would like to maybe go like Savage Land, like in the comics. I don't know.
Oh yeah,
I don't
yeah.
think
I
we
see
would.
that.
Even in like 20 years time, I don't think they would
I
ever
know,
do
but
that.
it's hard to like come up with like new ideas for the MCU X-Men.
Yeah.
Especially when so much has already been done.
Yeah, and
Or maybe.
And then after all this stuff's
or
happened
maybe
in
they
the
could do something
MCU,
with
like where's
Genosha
the
Island.
X-Men?
Well, here's
They
the-
could do something with Genosha.
well, here's the thing: introducing them into a world where the Avengers is already a thing, I think, is can be sort of new enough. Because not that I liked this movie, but that's what Spider-Man did. And that was new enough for us. This is Spider-Man
I know,
interacting
but
with the
then,
Avengers in a very personal way to him.
Another thing, a problem with it is like because of Fox's having the mutant name, like.
Well, they don't have that anymore.
I know, but now all of a sudden, instead of Inhumans, now that all of a sudden the mutant gene is just gonna pop up.
Yeah.
That's the thing, though.
I don't know how they're going to explain that. I mean,
By the way,
I trust them to be Spider-Man. I mean. I mean, it's not like it's highly improbable to just think they've been sort of in the shadows this whole time. Ant-Man was active well before Iron Man was ever a thing, and nobody mentioned it before the movie. So
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't know.
yeah. No, I hear what you're saying. I
was trying to think of more character or more comic book characters I would like to see instead of like, because I mean, I don't know, like you dropped some great bombs especially with like Richard Madden and the girl from Scandal, I can't remember her name.
Kerry Washington.
I would love to have seen Kerry Washington as Storm. I think she would nail it. I really do. I like your Liam Neeson for Magneto. I think that's a good pick too. But man, for character wise, I don't know. I don't know. It's just a franchise. I think it's a franchise that really needs to cool off for a few years before they even attempt anything like this.
I think you're right. I think you're right about that.
Because I mean, because Fox has controlled it for so long. Yeah. People, even the newbies to it, like Sophie Turner, who's playing Jean Grey, she played it in Apocalypse, the first rendition, and now she's playing it. Now she's basically the title character in Dark Phoenix.
Yep.
It's gonna take a few years for people to not forget her, but to be able to because especially with Tom Holland taking on Spider-Man, that didn't happen for like a few years after Spider-Man 3 or 2.
It was 2 years.
Yeah, but still, it was like...
It was literally 2 years.
But that was like...
But it wasn't his own movie.
2014 to 2016.
Yeah, but he was also introduced within the premise of like other Avengers, so like it was...
Well, yeah.
It was set up to win.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like they'll probably do with X-Men. Is my point.
I don't know. I just...
Avengers plus X-Men.
Yeah. Because you know what they'll want to do is Avengers versus X-Men down the line.
Yes, I want to see that.
Yeah.
That'd be pretty cool, yeah.
I like it, but I just think...
They need a whole universe to build though with X-Men though.
Yeah.
I'm sure they'll take their time. I mean, they're introducing their solo characters as of right now. Down the line we still got Captain Marvel to introduce. We will probably get a sequel to that. We'll get a Black Panther sequel. We'll get a Doctor Strange sequel. We'll get the third Guardians of the Galaxy. And we're gonna get like a solo Black Widow movie apparently at some point. So that's the rumor that I'm hearing. They're trying to get it. Yeah.
They have writers.
So it'll be a long time before we see Fantastic Four, X-Men, any of them. But I would be surprised if they never showed up at all.
Yeah.
They're going to surprise us. It's going to be the Silver Surfer.
Silver Surfer in his debut film. On that note, we're going to end this episode, though. Everybody, thank you so much for joining us on this episode of Nerds of UVM. If you liked what we did here, consider commenting down below, leaving a like, or subscribing to the YouTube channel there, or following us on social media there. We'd love to interact with you a little bit, and we'd love to keep you coming back. So, until next time, I've been David.
I've been Luke.
I've been Bob.
I've been Ayo.
And this has been Nerds of UVM. Thank you so much for joining us. Until next time, live long and prosper.